And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week.
And I'm here in beautiful Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the Republican National Convention, which begins on Monday. I'm here as part of the Committee on Permanent Organization, which meets prior to the convention actually getting underway. And the excitement here continues to build. There really is a gigantic enthusiasm gap between Republicans and Democrats right now. There would be great enthusiasm for Republicans regardless, because Donald Trump and his candidacy have really invigorated large elements not only of the party, but of folks that haven't traditionally been part of the Republican base: African Americans, Latinos, young people, union members, etc. But with the troubles that Joe Biden and his campaign are having right now, the enthusiasm gap is huge, because the pressure on Joe Biden continues to mount by the hour. And Lord only knows if by the time you actually get to watch this on Saturday morning, something really significant may have happened. But there are a variety of clues as the drip, drip, drip into that beaker I talked about last week continue to fall. And the media continues to talk about this as though age were the issue. It really isn't. You know, my dear sweet mom, I hope she's watching this, is celebrating her 100th birthday this year. And she could run circles around Joe Biden, both physically and mentally. She's as sharp as a tack. She's in great shape. And Joe Biden simply isn't. There clearly is some mental deficiency there, some cognitive loss that at this point is really, really large and growing. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And whether or not he can truly govern effectively, or at least as effectively as Democrats govern for the rest of this term, is an open question now, much less what would happen if he were, God forbid, given another 4 years. You've got Hunter Biden there in the White House now as one of his chief advisors. Think about that. If Donald Trump had done that, they'd have been screaming to the high heavens. But there's Hunter Biden perched on his position there, leaning into the president's ear every day, giving him counsel and advice, a convicted felon on his way to prison. And the cover-up is always worse than the crime. And what America saw in that debate a couple of weeks ago was something that a lot of people believed and suspected prior to seeing it in full view for themselves. But we were told by Jean-Pierre and others, oh, no, this is just part of a Republican conspiracy to use little fake clips and cobble them together and edit them, etc. And they went so far as to precast news gatherings. They cost a Philadelphia reporter her job, because they were sending down these pre-scripted questions for her to ask on the air when they gave permission for Joe Biden to actually give an interview. And so the response to that was to let Joe Biden have his quote-unquote big boy press conference this week. And it started an hour late. That really wasn't his fault. That's NATO's. But what did he do in that conference? Shortly after calling Vladimir Zelensky President Putin, he calls the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump. He didn't do a terrible job in that presser, but he didn't do a great job either. If that had been held in a vacuum, I think people would have said, wait, what's going on with this man? But in light of what happened during the debate, it didn't help him appreciably. His team's going to crow about how great he did, but that's damning with faint praise. And one other quick thought. Where's Bob Woodward with his book on Joe Biden? He wrote these trash Donald Trump books as fast as his pen could go to the paper, with titles like Fear and Peril and all these things that were just, broadsides against Donald J. Trump and his presidency. Why isn't he writing about what has gone on and is going on in the Biden White House? Why doesn't he talk about the president's mental deficiencies? Why doesn't he go into what's happened behind the scenes with the cover-up of all of the inadequacies of Joseph R. Biden? Great question, Bob Woodward. Where are you? And finally, it's the weekend before the baseball All-Star Game, and there will be a pause in play with the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm still a Pennsylvania guy and a Philly boy, perched not only as the best team in Major League Baseball, but for those that are critics of their schedule, the best team in Major League Baseball against plus 500 teams with 7 All-Stars. It's going to be a great week. And in keeping with our recent tradition, here's another little video clip to make this truly the best 60-ish seconds of your week.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. You can beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, Mr. President.
I'm better.
You are a
Separately, what concerns do you have about Vice President Harris's ability to beat Donald Trump if she were at the top of the ticket?
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there. Number one.